Ladies and gentlemen, with this prayer, Fatiha, and what we ask from Almighty Allah, we hope will do the occasion fine, finish finally, and everybody goes back to his home safe and fine. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد وبارك على سيدنا محمد وما صليت وبارك على إبراهيم إنك
Today, you have Obla's perspective on change, and you will agree that as a participant, he observed, he participated, and he saw. And it is good that all of us step out of here to go and read it. But don't just read it, buy it, because he spent some money to be able to produce this document for us. This is history. You know, in the past, we used to hear that history is the study of past events. No, history is both the study of past, present, and future events. Because the past events usually will shape the present, that determines what you will do in the future. That's what I was taught at the University of Port Harcourt, and I'm very proud to come from the University of Port Harcourt. In the name of change, I will tell Obla, as the chairman of the occasion, that I don't have money to give. If I give now, they will say it's from Osborne. I will make sure that no one, I don't give you money from Osborne Road, because there's no money from Osborne Road. I will get money from my duty as Minister of Transportation, and that is my salary, and that will be my contribution to this book.
It's my kinsman who has brought this great feat to those of us who identify with him from the same locality, friends. Of course, there can be nothing greater than that a man puts down his experience in documents. And doing this is not an easy thing. I believe that what Okoi has done today, in years to come, will be the fundamental aspect of Nigerian history, just as the memories of the Nigerian Civil War documentation is today. Because in Africa, near Nigeria, it was nearly impossible to suggest and even bring to reality the fact that any government or any people out of government could displace a government by popular will and remains upheld. So it's therefore my pride to associate and identify with this event. But something all of us must do is to know that today, being such a great day, one way to propagate what we have believed, being that I believe that everybody that is here has believed in the tenets of this change program, change agenda, is to spread the gospel of the documentation of this book. All of us may not agree with the content of the documentation, but we have the responsibility to know that where we don't agree, we put down our own. So in the midst of many accounts, somebody who is reading from the several will be able to have his own independent and objective government. I am grateful for the fact that Barrister Okoi Obla has done this. I will learn to be like him. May God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Just Plateau State.
where his father, Daniel Ofem Obono Obla, was a member of staff of the defunct Post and Telecommunications Department, referred to as PNT. Soon after his birth, his father was transferred to Ogoja in the then southeastern state, now Cross River State. He had his early education at St. Andrew's Primary School and Mary Knoll College, Ogoja. Thereafter, he proceeded to the University of Jos for a law degree at the Nigerian Law School, Lagos. He was called to the Nigerian bar in 1990. Between 1990 and 1991, he participated in the National Youth Service Corps scheme at Benin and became part of the NYSC legal aid scheme that started a clinic to provide legal aid to indigent people. After NYSC, he joined the firm of Kanu, Agabi & Co., senior advocate, in 1992, and in 1994, he left for Utande, Grace Nsot and Associates. The firm later became Utande, Obono, and Benigan in 1997. In 2009, together with his wife, Justina, they formed Obono, and Associates. Okoi Obono Obla's influence in the human rights community became notable from 1993, when together with Eka Williams Etsu, founder of Society for Women Against AIDS in Africa, SWA, started the NGO Coalition for Democracy, Cross River State Chapter. The NGO Coalition for Democracy fought for the validation of the 1993 annulled presidential elections believed to have been won by the late Chief MKO Abiola of the Social Democratic Party. In 1997, he founded the Movement for the Empowerment of Cross River People. He has also offered free legal advice to NGOs and civil society groups, among them NGO Coalition on Environment, legal advisor April 1996 to 1999, and Women in Detention Initiative, January 2000 to 2005. He also represented victims, especially those from Cross River State, pro bono, at the Human Rights Investigation Commission, known as Oputa Panel, which was constituted by the federal government of Nigeria to look into cases of human rights abuses in the country from 1966 to 1999. In 2003, he had his first shot at partisan politics when he contested for the governorship elections in Cross River State on the platform of the National Conscience Party, founded by the late human rights lawyer, Gani Faemi, Obla's member. He became the national legal advisor and member of the board of trustees of the Congress for Progressive Change at its formation in 2009, and later also served as the party's deputy national secretary before its merger with the Action Congress of Nigeria, All Nigeria's People's Party, and factions of the All Progressives Grand Alliance and Democratic People's Party to form All Progressives Congress, APC. He served as the secretary of the Congress for Progressive Change, Stroke Alliance Committee during the merger talks. Obono Obla has continued to give incisive commentaries in public affairs with participation in government. Many consider him an activist politician. He is the co-author, alongside Glory Okoi Uyoyo, of the book Power Struggle and Corruption, which was published in 2014. And now he's going to present his second book, All Progressive Congress, The Making of a Change Agent, which is being presented today. Your Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, Chief Launcher, colleagues, friends and well-wishers who are here, I hereby present to you the author of the book that has brought us all here today, Chief Okoi Obono
Obla.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, behind every successful man is a successful woman. You've just had the citation of this great learned luminary. It's my pleasure to introduce the wife of this great author, and she is Barrister Justina Obono Obla. Please, a round of applause. You're welcome back. We are seeing the work you are doing in the other room. Ladies and gentlemen,
ladies and gentlemen, I just want to add to what my colleague said concerning Mrs. Obla. I beg to differ. These days, it's no longer behind a successful man, it's beside. It's actually, she's been there with him for a long time, and I can tell you, she's that person who has always been the one, behind him, beside him, making him move forward in his progressive, progressive stand towards anti-corruption, human rights activism and all that. If she wasn't there to support him, I don't think he would have gone this far. So another round of applause for Mrs. Obla, please.
And Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me leak a secret. We almost fixed this book presentation on their wedding anniversary. They made 20 years yesterday as a couple. Shall we give them a round of applause?
I want to recognize all those who were members of that committee. The national chairman of APC was a member, but he's here represented by Dr. George Bogalu. He was also a member. As a matter of fact, he was a co-secretary. I was a co-secretary, and Dr. Ibrahim Lame was also a co-secretary, because the three major political parties have to form the secretariat. So we were, all of us who were secretaries of our respective major committees were appointed co-secretaries of the joint inter-party major committee. I recognize the Honorable Minister for Communication Technology, Barrister Adebayo Chitu. He was a member, a very influential member of the committee. I want to recognize Honorable Emeka Nwajuba. He was also a member of the committee. He's here. I want to recognize Mrs. Lucy Ajay, Executive Secretary of Lagos International Trade Fair. She was a member. I want to recognize somebody who was giving us the financial empowerment from the CPC angle, Ajia Sadia Umaru Farouk, who was the National Treasurer of CPC then. I used to put so much pressure on her to give us money because I was the secretary. I want to recognize the DG of National Rotation Agency, Dr. Garba Barry. He was also a very influential member. We benefited so much from his intellectual prowess. I also want to recognize Pastor Longe, who was also the National Financial Secretary of CPC, who was also responsible for our welfare while we were members of the major committee. When we started meeting, PDP didn't give us a chance. The media did not give us a chance. Everybody didn't give us a chance. There were a lot of doubting Thomases. They said, look, General Buhari and Tinubu will never agree. The ABGA will never agree with CPC. AMPP, oh, General Buhari has written off AMPP. You will never agree. This is a meeting of strange political bedfellows. But we had to work very hard. We had to make a lot of sacrifices to put pay to all those who were speculating that Nigerian politicians will never work together. You know the history of political alliances in Nigeria. Starting from 1959, the Northern People's Congress won the election. They had the majority of seats. And in 1964, NCNC, Action Group, NEPU, that's Northern Northern Progressive Element Union, that's Aminu Kano's party. And they tried to forge an alliance to fight the 1964 elections. They didn't succeed. On the other hand, MPC and Akintola's party. We tried to form an alliance to defeat PDP, and we saw that it was a possibility, but somehow we couldn't agree on certain issues, so that alliance failed. Then in 2013, we started, and it ended well. On the 29th or 30th of July 2013, we formed APC. And then nobody gave us a chance that we are not going to win the elections. But I saw it coming. The day we agreed to form APC, General Muhammadu Buhari and Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, and Chief Russia Okoi, who was from Abga, from the southeast, and the day we agreed to form APC, I saw victory, and it came to pass. The first time we were seeing a political transition from the opposition taking over government is unprecedented in the biggest country in Africa. Maybe in Kenya, the opposition came together, but they did not merge. We merged. Political merger. We used to hear banks merging. We used to hear bank merging. So it is monumental. It has never happened. But we saw political parties merging, different personalities, different ideologies, different interests, ambitions, and aspirations coming together for the first time. And we won. Today we are in government. So it's unprecedented. That is what I have tried to capture. I want to tell the story because tomorrow revisionists will begin to distort the story. So I have to tell the story from an insider. It may not be your perspective, but that is my perspective. Anybody who doesn't agree with me, you are free to write your own account of what transpired. So, All Progressive Congress, the making of a change agent, is the story of this unprecedented event in our nationhood, a merger of political parties. This story had to be told for ourselves and for our children. No, I forgot somebody who was a member of the Mayor Committee who is here. Jimmy Lawal is a special advisor to Governor Nasir El-Rufai of Kaduna. He was there. Please forgive me, I have to acknowledge him. So this story has to be told for ourselves, for our children, for posterity. This is what I have attempted to do. Once again, welcome and thanks for listening.
I thought we can do better than that. Thank you very much. Well, someone whispered to me, said, when you have very big guests at your function, you need to keep the time. We don't have all of the time. I think it's only auspicious that we walk within time. But while we collate the list of people to recognize, I know on a presentation like no recognize me say, we just call Waka, go like that.
Sorry.
For me, it is a matter of pride that I am here today at the book launch, at the launch of the book written by Okoi, Obono, Obla. Okoi, like Gulda Beer, is proudly different. You don't have two Okois. He's a lawyer, the ideal husband, and I'm sure Justina will confirm that. A traditional ruler, an activist, and today he's establishing himself as an historian. Okoi, on behalf of myself and everybody who shares this sentiment, we thank you for documenting a monumental chapter of our recent political history. Because like you rightly said, if you don't tell your story from your perspective, the revisionists will move in sooner than later and tell a story that never happened. The politician is credited with very many bad habits. The politician, especially the Nigerian politician, is believed to be mentally lazy, a fraud, a liar, and whatever. But Okoi, today, you have demonstrated that intellectualism and politics are not mutually exclusive. You have demonstrated that it is possible to introduce mental energy into our politics. Benjamin Disraeli, perhaps the youngest Prime Minister of Britain ever, once said, of all the gifts God gave man, the act of writing well is the greatest. So God has given you the greatest gift. Congratulations.
To congratulate Chief Obla, for the work he has had some time, to do in bringing about, the history of the change agent in Nigeria. As he has said, from the 50s, when I was in primary school, I've noticed a lot of alliances of political associations and parties, all in an effort to get Nigeria on the right path. But it never happened until now. So it is something that we have to applaud, something we have to be happy about, and something we will be pleased to see how this group was put together to bring about this change. I would think that we didn't have that opportunity because whenever those alliances were made, the leadership was not there to be willing, to be able, to be determined to step on many toes in order to change the system. But today, we have a leader. We have a leader of this change agency that is ready to step on any toes because he believes Nigeria is bigger than anybody else in this country. And we must be ready to follow that, no matter what happens, because this is our last chance. For the past 56 years after independence, we have not been able to attain the level of emancipation that we have seen within these past 2 years of this APC government. Because we have never been able to do the right thing. We have been afraid of people. And there is no country that can develop where the leadership is afraid of people. Then the last word is change causes a lot of problems. Change, you have to move from where you were to where you don't know. And therefore there is resistance. There is always resistance. There is pain. There is unknown. But then we have to extrapolate from the past to the present. And since a good foundation has been laid, both in security, both in economic arrangement, and both in fighting corruption, we believe that if these three sectors are being consolidated and solidarized in the country, a great foundation will be laid for all of us to stand up to stand on, to progress Nigeria, so that within the next few years, Nigeria will be a country to be reckoned with. Thank you and God bless.
This book does not lend itself to the traditional review of books, given the nature of the book itself. A number of issues raised and facts here are not controversial. They are not issues that one can debate, particularly if one was not a key player in this process. But from the little that I know, I think one can vouch for the richness of this material. I call this a project in the sense that this is not the first time that political parties have tried to merge or consolidate in Nigeria. They've tried it before. And I think it's important to know why this succeeded. And for me, it's a very, very important contribution to political party formation and processes in Nigeria. I commend the author for putting pen to paper, and which is not very common. And I think that he has thrown the gauntlet to other key actors in this project to also share their insights so that most people will learn from this project. It's a very rich resource material because it provides us the pathway to look at how the party can consolidate itself from its original raison d'etre, which was to unseat an unpopular government. And I think that it provides us also how we can now translate our common values into shared values that will make the party itself a very, very, very strong instrument for change. It is a research material that I think one recommends to everybody. And I'd like to conclude quickly by referencing from Chief Tony Momo's forward, where he said that for those who want to enrich their records of Nigeria's political journey to now, here is a document for you. But even more, it is a handbook for those who want to meet all the requirements for the formation or merger of political parties. And I think other African countries who have been struggling to consolidate their parties and provide credible opposition will learn a lot from this experiment. Thank you very much.
I've already made my comments known by writing quite a lengthy, let me call it message. But since I understand that time is of essence this afternoon, one just have to make one or two comments, particularly about the book. I know, let me first start by saying when Chief Obono Obla invited me to do a review of the book, one of the first things that came to my mind is how will someone from another party, particularly considering our position during the formation of APC. I must confess, some of us never gave APC any chance of being what it is today. And I'm very sure the member of the party will be deceiving themselves if they believe that nobody should oppose what they are trying to do at that point. And as it is, when I was now called to critique the book, I have to go through it wholly, and I noticed one or two things. But I must first by commending the writer. He has done a great job, particularly when you see that he should be one of the first person that believe that let me speak. Because if we refuse to narrate our story, very soon, it will soon be hijacked and you will see different people spinning different stories. So I commend you on that. And I noticed one thing again, the entire book, I'm again proud of him, particularly when a lawyer turned to be an historian, a writer of such magnitude. And wherever I remember the narration of the book, I'm so proud. Now there's another issue that I really want to raise, which I've made known in my own critique. You notice that in this book, for some times, INEC, that's the Independent Electoral Commission, they've been a little bit handicapped, particularly when it comes to election crimes. It seems that election in Nigeria today it seemed to be more of giving some people what we call immunity. Anything done during the election seemed to be so free that you don't have to hold them accountable. That is why since 1990 today, I'm yet to see anybody to be so convicted for any electoral malpractices. And you see that this is a crime. And in this book, quite a chunk page were dedicated to catalog of some electoral crimes, which I want, which I pray, and which I will move, that I think the INEC or whosoever, the law enforcement agencies that are so concerned should do one or two things about. Because we can't say for the past 19 years or 18 years, you see today people kill themselves over the issue of election, and at the end of the day, when you try to bring them to book, everybody will raise the issue that they are politicians. And we are so clear, we are aware of the numbers of those who have immunity in this country. And I believe these are the things we are going to, these are the things we need to look at. And finally, there are a lot of things which I will recommend. Though Chief Obla told me that he has already made my critiques available to most of the people, which I believe we're in the computer age, we're in internet age, we're in each ward. I'm sure even as we sit, we will try as much as possible. Particularly, I understand that all of us, we have our answered, our email address, and I'm sure it will be sent to us. And finally, I must say this too. Chief Obla catalogued a lot of infractions by other political parties. But unfortunately, I must say that I seem to forget again that APC had their own blame in one way or the other. Though I believe being a politician, we shouldn't expect him to do that. And that I'm sure that this book will instigate a lot of narration, a lot of book from time to come. I salute your courage. I'm very grateful.
The chief launcher is not going to do his own from the back door. He is coming from the front door.
Can we have Princess? Princess? Okay, the patient.
Check. A round of applause, please.
I think all the members of that will pick a copy each, then they display before us for the cameras to take place. Thank you very much. Shall we give an applause to this as we have some music as we do this, please? Thank you very much. The unveiling of ABC, the making of a change agent, authored by Chief Okoi, Obono, Obla. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chief Launcher. We are getting to the climax, and he said,
100 pieces of this book at 3 million naira. And I'm here to the university as an agency member. My friend here, who is deputy chairman for the deputy promoter, Julius Running, he will also purchase 50 copies of this book at 2 million.
today is a day of pride. Today, I believe, is a day of hope for Nigeria. I feel excited to be here to associate with our distinguished author, who has been my colleague in the CPC for close to 6 years now. I want to commend his sense of being principled
his sense of being courageous, his sense of being a fighter for the cause that we all believe in. For some of us, without prejudice to all others of APC, we started associating with our president today at the time that he was most unpopular to the Nigerian public. That was the day that we had options of political parties to belong to. I know that for someone coming from the South, the in thing was for him to naturally belong to PDP at that time. For me coming from the Southwest, the natural habitat ought to have been the AD and AC and ACN. But because we believe in General Buhari, we believe in his God-given attributes, his moral standing, his commitment to the Nigerian project, and his desire to remain alone if that was what it would take to remain untainted. We decided to associate with him. For this principal position, I want to commend my colleague. We were together in the Marcher Committee of CPC before the creation of the Merger Committee of APC. And in those days, we would go on and on when there was not even money. Hajia's idea was described as our energizer financially. But more often than not, there was not even the thing to energize us with. And yet we felt that the future belonged to the people of principle. And I'm happy that today, General Buhari, who was the most popular candidate, eventually became the most popular candidate at the last election. I think this is a great lesson for all of us, not just at this political sphere, but even in our private lives. That when we believe in a principle, when that principle is a sincere one, committed and focused towards achieving the best, please remember always that God is with those who appear to be in the minority. This lesson is one lesson that we must all take home. For the book that we have learned today, I want us to regard it as our Bible, as our Quran, because I believe, even though I have not read it, but knowing the author very well, I know that it will be the truth and nothing but the truth. And I'm happy that the review of the book has suggested that this book should not be to the benefit of Nigerians alone, that even for other countries on the African continent, we must find a way of getting this book to them. This is because of the fact that in several other African countries, these countries are more banana republics than democratic republics. Somebody within the last 1 week was telling me of a country very near Nigeria, where the government deliberately blocked internet for a whole of 180 days just because government was being criticized using the internet. I know that can never happen in Nigeria because of the advancement that we have attained. So to assist our African countries and to assist our brothers and sisters in these other African countries, we need to take this message of change to them for resilience, for determination, for them who are under pressure to remain committed to fighting to liberate themselves. We can say that in the area of fighting insurgency and fighting militants, the Buhari administration, through its change agenda, has scored more than 90% in terms of scoring. The next issue is the issue of fighting corruption. A lot of people, when they want to mislead the public, they tell you that even though there's a fight against corruption, but that fight is selective. And when you ask them, how is it selective? They say that because virtually everybody who is being taken to court on corruption, appears to be PDP. How will it not be PDP when PDP has been in government for all of 16 years? Is it people who never had the opportunity to steal, even if they wanted to steal, that would have been arraigned before the courts? So I say that the argument about so-called discriminatory prosecution is a very baseless one. And we all have known also, at least by watching television, we know that a lot of stolen monies are being brought back into government coffers. If we didn't know anything, we at least know that when Boko Haram was at its highest in their nefarious activities, the president there took a prayer to the saints, asked for $1 billion to buy arms and ammunition for the armed forces, who were then being overwhelmed by the Boko Haram elements. The prayer was approved by the Senate. And instead of using that $1 billion to buy ammunition, the then government and the officials simply put the money on the table and shared every cover of $1 billion. And that was how and why the insurgency lasted till the time it lasted. We thank God that when Buhari came with his change agenda, he simply marshaled all resources to get, the Boko Haram, the Nigerian armed forces equipped, and he also, and that is why you see a lot of senior armed forces personnel and senior PDP elements being charged to court and monies being recovered from them. So again, that's an evidence that with regard to the promise of fighting corruption, this government has done very well. I think that all that is happening now is that the change agenda which APC represents has succeeded in bringing real change to the lives of Nigerians. I can assure you that this is just the beginning. Thank you so much for the government.
A lot of things happen within these individual groups before we all came together to form our party, the APC. I remember very clearly that we had about 89 persons who eventually formed the nucleus, who were representing the various parties, each party bringing either 18 or 19 persons to put together this cause. So I want to congratulate you, and I am happy that history is being made. A few months ago, Dr. Onu presented his own perspective of what happened. Today we are seeing another perspective from Okoi, Obono, Obla. Tomorrow, new perspectives will come. The important thing is that history is being documented for us and for the generations to come. I also want to place on record that working with Okoi, Obono, Obla in the course of this assignment was quite interesting. He was a committed person. When we are doing this assignment, I had the privilege of hosting the member secretaries who put the secretariat together. And anytime we say that our meeting is going to start at 10, our meeting is going to start at 12, while I'm in my office, Okoi will come exactly at the appointed time. I want to place that on record. And that brought us a little closer than we were, because it showed somebody who was determined, somebody who had a commitment, and somebody who knew where he was going. Having said that, I want to place on record Mr. Chairman's directive. I was asked to come here, encourage Obla, and then buy 25 copies of the books for all members of the National Working Committee and the directors who are part of the system. And on my own part, I'm going to add additional 5 copies to the 25 to now make it 30, so that I will have some kept in my library. So once again, my brother, I want to congratulate you. I wish you well. I want to encourage everyone of us that the only way we can endorse this book is to make sure that we all buy it, even if not for ourselves, buy it for our friends, so that every one of us will be part of what is happening here this afternoon.
It is my pleasure, wonderful pleasure, to stand here and talk about this book which, I mean, I'm not going to talk about the book, but about the person who wrote this book, and to appreciate what he has done. I was a member of the working committee of the CPC, and we worked very closely with Chief Obla. So closely, I got to realize that he's a very detribalized Nigerian. He supports whoever is right and blames who is wrong. That means he's after justice. I lay this foundation because even though I have not read the book, I am very sure that what is in will not be tribalized and will have justice. For that reason, I am the chairman of NIMASA, and NIMASA is, people are always talking about NIMASA. Therefore, my contribution to the book writer is private and is known to them. I thank them for this book, and I thank them for inviting us to come and witness a great history that is being done. One thing I wonder about the writer is he is a barrister. In fact, he stood for me when I took Benue State to court. For one thing, that the local government funds for my local government to the local government, and not one single ditch was dug by the government for 16 years. And he represented me, and we won both in Makudi and in Vandika. And it was because of his hard work, because the governor took a son to represent them as an issue that belonged to the state. So he had to work very hard, which is also responsible for this book. You will find this book is very objective, and therefore it requires reading. I encourage everybody here, and if you have friends outside, let them also have copies, so that they will get to know the truth of what happened during the merger. I thank you all for listening.
Thank you very much. He sent his goodwill message to the author and congratulate him on a job well done. And for the other side, on how many copies to purchase and on what amount, have not been directed to do so. But on my own, I will love to purchase a copy to him. The price will be disclosed to the author. It will be communicated to him by the Honorable Minister. I cannot give the price now. Then on my behalf, I know the author very well because we are kind of family. We were great Josite. We are colleagues in the profession and colleagues in office. On that ground, I will want to purchase a copy of the book. I will tell him the amount. I have a check. A round of applause. A round of applause. My husband, Honorable Musa Elayo, asked me to purchase a copy to him because he was not aware of the book launching. The amount also, I have a check here, I will write and give to the MC. A round of applause. I pray that his targeted audience will make good use of this book. Today is my birthday, that's why I'm so happy, and this book is launching. So the book is very close to my heart. And on behalf of my husband, my family, we will send a disclosed amount to him from NOAA, the Navy Officers' Wives Association, and my family. Thank you very much. I'm very proud.
So John Owaneno is actually getting ready to do his own launch. We're looking forward to it.
Just drop the bombshell, let's proceed. You're welcome. Just drop the bombshell, let's proceed. We don't have all the time before we lose the guests.
Hola, let me stand on all existing protocols. My name is Nati Kocha, and I must appreciate my colleague, Barrister Obla, for this effort to chronicle not just the efforts of the APC to change the sequence of politicking and democracy in Nigeria, but also giving us an insight into the historical background of all that. I want to pick up 12 copies of the book. 5 copies of it will go to the Abia State University, the opposition party university in the state where I teach and where I'm being terrorized since all these years for being in the opposition, and now, thank God, I'm in the ruling party. I will take 5 copies for that university, and I'll take 5 copies for the Federal University Okoi, where it has pleased the president to send me to work for change, and 2 other copies for my personal library.
Don't break it down. The public is invited to the presentation of a book, All Progressives Congress, The Making of a Change Agent, authored by Okoi, Obono, Obla. Date Thursday, April 27, 2017. Venue International Conference Center, Abuja. Time 11 a.m. prompt. Special guest of honor, His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, President Federal Republic of Nigeria. Father of the Day, National Chairman, All Progressives Congress, Chief John Odige Oyegu. All Progressives Congress, The Making of a Change Agent, Chairman, Right Honorable Rotimi Amechi, Minister of Transportation. Book reviewer, Kayode Fayemi, Minister of Mines and Steel Development. All Progressives Congress, The Making of a Change Agent. All guests are requested to be seated by 10:30 a.m.
APC Change!
Announcer, Planning Committee.